Okay.
And this is something I'm really scared of personally,
Okay.
is not to reach my potential and not to provide something, first of all, for myself, but also for society.
Yeah. Okay.
And yes.
David Goggins says something similar because I know you know him.
Yeah, of course.
He says he was on a podcast, I believe with Joe Rogan, and he asked him what keeps you going, because now he's a multimillionaire, he's well off. Why does he still get up and run even though he claims to hate running? And he says that he is scared that if he finds a way to look back at his life, let's say in a hypothetical scenario, he's at the gates of heaven, and then God points, again, hypothetically speaking, God points at this guy, and David Goggins said that, oh, well, that's not me. And God will go, yeah, that's who you could have become. So he doesn't want to miss out on the best version of himself.
Absolutely. But sometimes I get a bit too, because, again, another negative and positive of London is that there's so many things going on.
Yeah.
For example, at my university, there's 35 events going on every single day during the semester time. And obviously I can't go to every single event. I have to go to one. And I feel like I'm missing out on these 34 different events. I'm not taking all these opportunities. I'm not making the most out of my time. And in the end, I don't go to any.
That's fair.
But yes, fulfilling potential is something which I think every single
So going
person...
back to the snowball we talked about.
Yes.
Let's say in a hypothetical scenario where we're in London and somebody moves here for the first year, and they want to quote unquote make it. So let's say by that we mean he can have a comfortable income, an apartment that he can take a mortgage on, not kill himself, working 80 hours a week, is also insured that in case of something like COVID happens, he's got some savings. What does that take? And in terms of how much do you need to save? How much do you need to work for that? What do you need to do? What let's say, because I know you mentioned that potentially you're planning to move out of London, but if you were to stay here, how would you make it work?
Move out of London, maybe eventually come back,
Okay.
I don't know. It's really, I'm really, really open.
Yes.
I think everyone should be really open to the
Yes.
opportunities they have and to what life brings them.
Yeah.
Closing doors because I don't like the weather, I think is very immature, for example.
Depends how financially well off you are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Conor McGregor is on a yacht wherever is the warmest place in the world.
Yeah, but Conor McGregor made his millions.
Exactly.
So. At the age of 21, at the age of 21, at the age of 23 when I graduate, not having reached my potential, not having made my money, and saying, oh, I'm not going to go back there because I don't like the weather and the food. That's a bit emotional. And
I see what you mean. Yes, for sure. So then how would you structure it?
So going back to your question, I really don't know. I have to admit something that I'm a bit out of touch of the reality, if we have to be completely honest. And I'm very, very lucky, very, very privileged, and very grateful to have the opportunities that I have to study to live in central London, to study in a very, very good university as an international student, to travel a lot.
Well, you deserved a lot of these stuff.
Well, okay, but many people also deserve but don't get it. So I'm very, very lucky. I'm very, very grateful. So I am a bit.
It's great to be grateful.
Out of touch, I think, of what an average person and an average student does and can do.
Like we mentioned before, you've got high expectations from yourself.
Yes,
that's a good thing. I think that's a great thing. So
but I have expectations for myself, but right now this is not completely mine.
Okay.
So you have to, but it's good to see, understand, and eventually this is going to be my product.
I also think that plans change along the way, especially now. I feel like time moves so fast. If you make a 5-year plan with relationships or with business or with financial aspects, it's really stupid to be like 2 years ago I made this plan and I'm going to stick by it.
You tie your hands and you tie yourself for no reason, and in such a fast moving pace world and environment, I think the winners of today will be the ones that can be very flexible and can be very adaptable.
Oh, the winners of today are the ones that can be very flexible and adaptable.
I just made this up right now.
That's really good.
It kind of makes sense to me. Are the people that because we have a lot of resources to do with now AI and lots of intellectual stuff. But I think the qualities are now going to be.
Do you think there's money in AI?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's
Are you looking into it?
Yes and no. I'm not an expert in computer science, but I do have an understanding, a shallow understanding of the industry. Again, there are trillions, and everyone's there at the moment. So whenever everyone's there, you know that it's not the best place to be.
Yeah, what did it say about Alaska? That during the gold mine rush, it was the people that were selling the pickaxes that were making the money. Basically.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah,
because everyone tried to find. Yeah, exactly.
So you could sell AI courses.
Yeah, I'm making a ton of money, but
I know you're not the kind of guy. That's pretty scammy. You wouldn't do that.
No. Like again, I want to provide something useful. Like today, I have an opportunity in front of me to import, for example, loads of cigarettes from Brazil.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm really not providing much to society.
Oh, interesting.
And when I had this discussion with my father, he's like, "Well, you really like, what do you actually want to achieve? You can go become a billionaire by doing other stuff.
Yeah,
But
sell drugs.
Yeah, this is.
You don't need to import cigarettes. You can import cocaine. That's what makes you a billionaire overnight.
Yeah, overnight. So, but no, I want to provide something useful and make my money through a useful path.
And why do you think that's important to you? Because a lot of people, they first focus on themselves, me included. I think I'm at a stage right now where I want to make myself great first, and contributing to society.
But do you make
is
yourself great by selling drugs?
No.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the financial aspect.
Yes.
And again, going back a few steps, it's about reaching my full potential by importing. Let's not go to drugs because that's totally illegal. Let's get into cigarettes, which is a business model, and it's a legal business model. This is not really reaching my potential.
Okay.
And it's harming the society.
Yeah.
I think commission based at my age is the best possible business to do. Any commission, real estate, product, anything to do with commission, I think is now for me is the best.
That
easy,
sounds right.
Very, very easy money. In theory, easy money, but it is easy money. You just need to find the right people. No risk, no responsibility. And you're just like a bridge of connections, really.
I know a lot of people, and I think that's how people work, that would be able to justify almost any action that they're doing. And taking cigarettes as an example, objectively, it's a bad thing. But then I think people are made in a way where they can talk themselves at night. They can talk themselves into something to sleep well at night. Like, let's say you import cigarettes that are more expensive. And then suddenly you can be like, oh, that's one of the ways that I get to get people to smoke less because they
spend more.
They spend more, or the cigarettes are made in an ethical way, so it's better that they buy my cigarettes than other people's cigarettes because my cigarettes weren't made by slaves. And then they find a way to, even though they're in a bad industry, because
I totally understand where you're coming from, but then again, this is not my realizacja.
Yeah, like your world, right?
Ja nie realizowuję. How do I say this in English?
Okay, let's try to think about
I'm not reaching my potential in this.
Yeah.
And ideally, a business model that I see and the business that I'm going to be in is something that, yes, I'm making money out of it, but it's useful to the society and I provide for society.
I think that's great.
By making money. I'm very anti-communist.
There's this guy that I watch who's actually Russian, and he puts it really well. He says that business people, they take their gratitude, their like thanks from the world in the form of money. For example, teachers get their thanks from the world in the form of inner fulfillment that they're teaching people. Doctors save lives, and business people, their way of the world giving back to them is through money. So it must be a little bit difficult to kind of balance both doing things in the most beneficial way.
I don't know.
What do you think about that?
I haven't come to that stage of my life yet. Um,
What was it that we talked about earlier where we're like, do you remember what it was while we were setting up the equipment? We were saying that we get both sides. No? If it comes back, I'll let you know.
you get both sides.
I've heard a really interesting quote recently from a really, really reliable source, YouTube comments.
Oh.
And it said that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. I quite liked it.
Yeah.
I think everyone I know that managed to build something big, whether in business or anywhere else.
I haven't met a single person. I had the privilege to meet loads of successful people with net worth over $1 billion, with very, very successful people. None of them have become successful without failing.
Yeah.
Not a single person.
Also takes time.
Yes, especially if it's first generation,
Yeah.
even second generation. It really does take time.
I find it amazing
Patience.
when somebody tries project after project after project after project and does 17 of them, and then one of them succeeds. And then everybody goes, oh my God, he spent like 15 minutes on this project. He made all this money overnight. And I'm just like, no. He's been doing this for 5 years. Looking
project after project after project. At the moment, not getting too far. But there have been. I think commission-based is for now, at least at my age.
How does somebody find a commission-based opportunity at our age, Seba?
It depends on what industry you want to go into.
Okay.
It depends what's interesting.
Well, most people say that sales is a great one. Exactly. Real estate is a great one.
Now, real estate. We're from Cyprus. Real estate is one of the biggest industries in Cyprus, and I think, for example, if someone wants to make money, I think if they invest some time, they could make some good money out of real estate in Cyprus.
I've recently been to Colombia, and I thought because when we were there, we went mostly for nature, but because Colombia is the most biodiverse country in the whole world. It's got so many biodiversity. Whatever
is it not Brazil?
I don't know much about Brazil. I've never been there.
I think it's Brazil. If you talk about biodiversity, we've got the Amazon rainforest.
Well, that would make sense. I think Colombia touches on the Amazon rainforest, though. I'll look so stupid if I just said that.
Maybe it's Colombia. The most biodiverse for per square kilometer. I don't know.
There's gonna be a way. You're always gonna be able to
exactly.
lift some kind of trophy, right?
Exactly.
You're first at something. So we went for that, but then we ended up meeting so many locals and so many people that travel there. And one of the things that really stuck with me is how nice and how genuine and how loving the people are. Yeah. And then they have this other dark side, which is the whole cartel. It's so fascinating to me. Yeah,
the two extremes.
This complete polar opposites. From one side, these people I felt safe forgetting something in a taxi because after I walked out, the guy would check after me and make sure that I don't forget anything. You don't get that in London.
No.
But then I assume people that, for certain probably financial reasons, they go and they do some really violent things.
But again, if a child, when he's born and he sees, for example, his father and his uncle in this from a very, very young age, and this is his life, and that's all he sees. Yeah. Then he just grows into that.
Do you mean if a person is born into a environment which
it's very controversial. I'm very mixed. I have a very mixed opinion about this. Yeah. Whether a person is born or becomes that.
It's the whole nature nurture.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Nature nurture. I am very also a lot to be discussed. Mm-hmm. A lot to be. I think people study this for years to understand, but especially in a country like Colombia, where they don't have access to much. Yeah. So that's the only path that they see. So
I think it I really like this theory that I heard that a lot of people that go into violence do it out of two reasons. Either desperation, where there's really no other opportunity and you just have to make money and you're going to do anything to like feed your kids or save, I don't know, your parents' house from a mortgage that is overdue. Or the other reason is if they're like hurt, like abused,
Yeah.
like if
Or not loved.
if they went through,
Attention.
not loved, or
If
even
your
more
parents
extreme,
don't give you love, like.
like they say, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how true that is. I'm not a psychologist, but it makes sense
Well, it
to
makes
me.
sense to me. If you've unjustifiably spent 20 years in jail and then you walk out, you're going to be angry at the whole world, and everything you do, you can now say,
You justify it, yeah.
you justify it this way. So back to Colombia. I found it amazing, but I really wondered how difficult it is for those people to break through.
Yeah.
Like
Incredibly difficult.
they don't even have bordering countries that they can walk into, not naming any nearby South American countries.
Yeah. well, I was in Brazil.
Yeah.
In December.
Is it similar
January.
there?
It's very,
Was
very
it like-
similar.
All right.
And
What can people do?
But people. Okay, I didn't see the poverty side of Brazil. I saw the pretty, I think the average and maybe a bit below average life there a bit, but mostly it was the high end of Brazil. But I made sure that I would take my father's friend and we'd go to the fields of Brazil and find these Brazilians, and I would talk to them. He would translate for me, and
Do
they
you
are,
speak Portuguese?
no, my friend does. Espanol. Un
Very good.
poquito español.
Don't know nothing about Spanish. So go on.
And they are the happiest people. Like honestly,
Yeah.
these people in the fields, they are like their main priority is to have food on the plate, have a roof above their heads, and they are really, really happy. But then I'm like, oh, why can't I be like this? You know, sometimes. But then that's all they can see. They don't have access to much more. They don't have access to social media to see what's out there. They don't have.
Do they really not?
I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe, but I mean, they have. I don't think they've traveled much. One of one of the guys I met there, he was studying at university there, and he came 300 kilometers from the university, and for him it was a huge shock. It was the first time that in 18 years of his life, that he left his hometown.
Wow.
And so for him, it was a huge experience, and he was so shocked to hear that I went by myself on the plane when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And for him, this was absolutely like how did I make it from Europe to Brazil? And yes, but it's very hard for them to break through. Very, very hard. But life is unfair. You know?
I just wonder if I was like, let's say I somehow managed to retain all the knowledge I have right now, but I ended up being an 18-year-old in South America. What would I have to do? And I have to be honest, I am not all that convinced I'd be able to make it.
What does make it mean? For everyone, make it is their own. For example, that Luis guy that I saw in the fields, his make it was to provide food of plate for his family and to have this
Actually,
roof over
that's
the shoulder.
fair. That's completely fair.
For them, and he's super happy. He doesn't want more.
Yeah.
He doesn't need more. His family does not want more, and they're very happy with what they have. So, because that's what they've seen. They
Yeah.
haven't seen anything else in their life.
I also have this theory that the reason it's so difficult right now for this in the past generation to save up enough for an apartment or make
very
like,
difficult.
big investments
It's been
is because in the 80s and the 70s, obviously everything was much cheaper. You could buy an apartment for a stack of blueberries and a few bananas and some cherries on top, and now it's worth 300,000, which is not the case anymore. But I also think that right now, there are so many necessary things that everybody has to buy.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have an iPhone, and everybody needs to have a reusable water bottle, and some headphones, and a bunch of equipment. And that
40 years ago, that was not the case.
Right. Or like you just look about the stuff that are in the bedroom. You need like 1,000 pillows and different bed sheets and nightstands. And so like not going into the
power
usual
of marketing.
Yeah, power of marketing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that makes it very difficult to save money, even
It
if you're
is.
making a lot.
I think now going back, it's the easiest time to make $1 million, but it's also the hardest time to actually get through.
Yeah, and keep $1 million.
And first of all, keep that $1 million, but to actually get through, I think if we land our feet back on earth, it is now a very, very difficult time for the average person living. I think 30 years ago, it was very easy to go get a mortgage and go get a house, buy a house. Now, that's nearly impossible. You have to do it after you're 30, after you're 40, small mortgage. The bank needs a load of different documents, details,
Apparently, you can't even rent an apartment in the UK
without having two guarantors or paying up front.
That's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Will paying up front work? I didn't know that.
If, for example, with my flat, I paid the whole tenancy up front, and you're fine.
But the guarantor,
because the guarantor
is
because
crazy.
He's guaranteeing you that if you don't pay the rent, he'll pay for you. So,
and I don't know how such a law happened. My only theory is that because there are laws which are great, which are really good from a human ethics point of view, but if you don't pay rent, the landlord won't be able to do anything about it.
He won't be able to kick you out now.
Yeah, so I guess that's why they're so heavy on guarantors. And this is one of those arguments where I see both sides. From one side, if you don't pay your rent, going on the street doesn't sound like the best solution if I'm a government. But from a person that owns the apartment's point of view, that's a problem.
If I'm the landlord, I don't care where he'll end up. I want my rent,
The soulless landlord who lives in Vietnam, doesn't even know he owns the apartment, just gets the money.
It depends, obviously. But if we're talking, well, we're living in a very capitalistic world.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, business means business. And
this person that's very close to me once said, if capitalism... You don't like capitalism because it doesn't work for you, sweetie. Best roast I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Very mean thing to say, but quite funny anyway.
Yeah.
I was
going to politics.
Yes.
Do you like politics?
No.
You don't.
I am staying the hell out of politics.
How comes?
Because I'm just a man, and I can't do all that much about it. But what I can do is not fill myself with all the negative, because I never say good stuff. It's never 20 consecutive minutes of, we built a dam and we helped the environment and we saved this many people. It's always what gets the headlines, and what gets the headlines is things that are emotionally traumatizing. What's the last good thing you heard about what they've done in the USA? Because I'm sure they do something. I can't believe that 100% of the actions that the current administration...
But then again, for someone, it's about your interpretation. For someone, it's good. For someone, it's bad. For someone, it's good.
So what were you going to say about politics? I'm curious now.
I'm quite intensely involved in politics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In what way? Do you want to go into politics?
Maybe in the very, very future.
Okay.
I think going into politics without money is not a good way.
Oh, so you will have to bring... Okay, interesting.
Yeah, by having a good income, by having good amounts of wealth, and then going into politics, I think I'll be able to provide much more.
Would you do it in Cyprus? Okay, would you want to do it in Cyprus?
Yeah, it depends.
In a perfect world, where would you want to do it?
Cyprus for me is a good country. For example, now our mayor of Paphos, hopefully he'll become the president soon.
Oh, nice.
And being with him in politics, I think it was going to be great.
Wow.
But to be honest, I don't know. I'm only 21. I'm 21. There's still a pretty long way to go. And, but yeah.
Politics is fun to look at.
For me, yes. I think everyone should be involved in politics.
Okay,
personally,
that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's a very fundamental thing, and to understand what's going on in the world, what laws are being passed, because you live by the laws and you live by what these people set out. And again, in the world of such a fast-paced world, so many things are changing so fast. And even if you're in a businessman, let's say you're an entrepreneur, you want to follow these things. Now with all this trade war and all these tariffs, as a businessman, you have to adapt So the winner is going to be the one who can adapt and be flexible.
Yes. That's going to be on the thumbnail of our podcast. This is really, really well said. I think it's good to be informed. I always had a dream to just have nothing to do with politics and just like find a way to dodge it. But then all these wars started happening throughout the world, and Russia, Ukraine, and Israel and Palestine, and China and Taiwan, and Trump being in America counts as another war itself. And it just affects our life so much that you just can't dodge it, because
exactly.
Like before, like during COVID and before COVID, I got away without worrying.
During COVID, you had to be quite actively involved with what laws are going to be passed, because every single day you had new rules.
Yeah, but at least that's like local politics. Because there are so many things going on. Like nobody's looking at what's the most recent law that's happening in Singapore.
But you as a businessman working in the UK with your businesses in the UK, well, you want to know what's the plans, now with the Labour government, which I'm really not a big fan of at all.
That's fair.
With all their new taxes and their rise in all the taxes, it affects you.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have to either somehow you have to work with it.
Yeah, 100%.
By just saying, I'm neglecting it, I don't want anything to do with it, I don't think is the right way to go.
So for me, it's like I can't do it because I end up being involved, because like you said, all these things touch on the business, touch on everyday life too much. But I really wish that like 90% of the information in politics goes sideways for me, because it doesn't make me happy. As you know, I'm
a bit
off social media.
Yeah,
and it's because
I'm very jealous.
it makes me so much happier to wake up in the morning and I don't know, take my ice bath, go to the gym, listen to a podcast, and not have this bucket of shit pour over my head, which is what happens when you watch any news.
Yeah, I agree.
From a mental health point of view, it's a very good thing. From if we're strictly talking success, it's good to be involved. It's good to be there. Also, it depends if you enjoy it. I know a lot of people that actively want to participate and contribute and find a lot of meaning into making a change in the world. I just don't believe that I can do that
exactly.
much.
Like I never ever protest. I really don't think that, especially today, my time and my energy and my word has value to society. Let's put it that way. Okay. I mean, me going out and protesting for something that I believe, wherever at Westminster, will not change anything. You know what's so the worst? I'd rather invest that time into reading a book, for example.
Yeah, or working. You know what's the worst form of protests? The comment section. People leave such long huge and emotional comments. And it's just like screaming into this void, which doesn't change anything. Except
who are you sending this message to? If you want to send a message to Keir Starmer, trust me, Keir Starmer will never open the comment section and read your comment.
Yeah.
But even if you will, you really won't care.
Something like that. Like protests, at least I can see a way how they can make an impact. And, especially in countries like the UK, it seems like they do. But just comments they're just emotional torture. It's like
high emotions, low IQ.
Yeah, it's partial suicide.
Yeah, exactly. I sometimes read these comments, which is also not a great thing to do, I guess. But I read these comments, and I'm like, what do you want to achieve with this? So where are you going with this? So do you not have anything else better to do? But again, me reading these comments is also like not very time efficient.
Sometimes if you can't avoid, the only way you can avoid it is not having Instagram on your phone.
Yeah.
The moment I download Instagram on my phone, I sit down in the toilet and I take out my phone, and my phone, without me giving it approval, goes and opens Instagram. So I just have to delete everything. I had this app which my partner hated, where every time I would open YouTube, it would make a 20-second screen.
Oh yeah, like, are you sure? Like sort of.
Well, it put it differently. It said that before opening YouTube, I had to breathe in and breathe out. And it took 20 seconds. And she would see me breathe it. I would go, come on, open. Yeah. She said it wasn't working. The breathe in, breathe out shit isn't working. I wanted to tell you about my recent trip to South Africa. Both me and you travel so much, so I'd love to share a little bit of that with you. I had a fantastic time. I went with a group of Russians, essentially, and we all came there for a celebrity who was hosting it. His name is Pivovarov. He is the #1 journalist, #2 YouTuber in all of Russia. And we got to spend some one-on-one time with him. He was awesome. First time I was around a famous dude. It was pretty cool. He said a very interesting thing. So, do you know Pivovarov?
No.
He's the #2 biggest YouTuber in all of Russia. He's got like...
Is he in Russia?
Yes.
Right now, he's like in Russia?
Yes. He's a reporter. He's one of those people that the government... Like, he can't monetize his content because he's a foreign agent.
So he's in foreign agent?
Yeah.
So he's not in Russia right now?
Oh, he is in Russia. So Russia has a thing where you're allowed to be a foreign agent and be in Russia. You just can't own businesses or monetize your content. You can't take a bank loan. So it's like it's the gray area between terrorist and citizen. You're allowed to be there. We're not going to put you in jail, but fuck you and everything you do.
Very interesting.
So he's very successful, ultra successful. #2 man on digital presence in Russia. And I asked him, like, what's the next big thing you want to do? And he said that he wants to reach an international audience. And I just told him, are you sure that's a good idea? And he said, yes. That is definitely the next step for me. And I really didn't expect that because he is so mega huge in Russia. And he's really good at what he's doing. But the only thing that truly drives him forward into doing more is hope that he makes it worldwide. So I wanted to bring it up to you, and I wonder, why do you think is it that when people reach a huge accomplished peak and conquer this mountain, the only thing that really drives them is the next tall mountain?
Wanting more. You always want to strive and want more and more and more.
Do you think that's a right approach? How do you feel about that?
So there's also two sides here. I'll bring you one example. I have a guy from my hometown. He was a professional skier, and he had a dream to win the Olympic Games.
Wow!
From a young age. From a very young age, he was training for these Olympic Games. Fast forward, he won the Olympic Games.
No way.
But all he was thinking about his whole life, I have no idea. I'll ask my dad.
Okay.
All his life, he's been thinking about this, about that day.
Yeah.
He won it. He won the Olympic Games. I think it was 2010. Okay. Where were they? Sochi was 2014. This was 2010. Where was 2010?
Sochi was the first one I watched.
Yeah, same.
I wasn't into it before.
And afterwards, he didn't know what to do with his life.
Yeah,
he had no other goal because that was his only goal. And what happened? He fell into severe depression.
Really?
He then went to the forest, lived there for like a year.
Wow.
And got into very, very severe depression. Don't know where he is now. But this story always sticks with me because, yes, you have this one goal, but you always need to strive for more. So he couldn't recover afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
So was he successful in the end?
In a way, that's an interesting question, right?
Yes.
Because in a way, yes, he won the gold medal. So many people train for something and they don't reach it. But what do you do next? What do you do after you have reached the top of the world?
Like, if I was in his place, I don't know. I'm not in his place, but I would start thinking about opening my own ski school, for example, or providing more to society. Because many people, when they reach such a big goal in their life, they set up a foundation, a school, whatever, college, to provide back to society.
That way they're involved in the thing that they love, and they can stay in touch and do the more skiing.
So with your example, I agree with him, But then
Yeah.
again, he's so huge in Russia. Maybe after when he starts going global, international, is he in English? Does he say in English or does he?
No. he
That's
his English is fine.
that's
but
gonna be an issue because
it's gonna
after
be an issue.
he's gonna start talking in English, and that transition period, he's gonna lose his Russian audience. I don't know. You have to risk analyze. You have to have you have to have a visibility study.
He wants to have two projects working parallel.
Fair.
So it is going to be a Russian project, and
But
there's gonna
still,
be an English
you'll lose a bit of touch with the Russian
Oh,
audience.
for sure. Because when you launch a successful hair salon and it goes so well, so well that you open a car dealership.
Or you start, or you open a barber.
Yeah.
Or exactly.
You lose both.
yeah, exactly.
If your hair that's my, and I'm not telling you what to do. He's so much older and so much more successful than me. He knows his way. But I'm just personally surprised because in my opinion, if you open a hair salon and it goes so well, you double down on it and you keep going. And then if you ever reach a place where you can't grow, I guess it's a problem. But I feel like
I don't think there is ever anything anywhere where you can't.
Well, if you're number
grow.
one, if you are Magnus Carlsen in chess, or if you are the number two biggest
You're number one
celebrity,
here, but you're in something else. I mean, okay, you're number one chess player. Then put yourself another goal, make 5 other guys number one. I don't know.
okay,
I mean, there is no. I
agree.
really don't think in this world, especially in today's world, there is a limit. The sky is really the limit in this world.
So would you say that if you've managed to, let's use a basic term, peak?
What is the peak? You know, that's the question I put myself every single day. But yes.
Yeah. But I completely agree with you. If you reached a point where you ask yourself this question and you're like, I don't think I can do more than I've already done in terms of whatever project that it is that you're running. Some people say that, they love the idea of retiring fishing, but most people that I know that do it, within 5 years, they go back and they can't wait to work more.
I have some really good examples from hands-on people that I've spoke to who tried to retire after making tens, hundreds of millions, billions of euros, but they just can't, because when it's been your ritual and it's been your life for so many decades, for a couple of decades, you can't retire. So
I'm trying to diversify for this exact reason. I'm trying to take some like taekwondo lessons and tennis.
Yeah.
And I'm getting because another very good quote is psychology is more contagious than the flu. I'm trying to put myself in environments where people are so invested in martial arts or the sport they're doing, or I don't know, skiing and scuba diving, that the same way how they say don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, absolutely.
I try to take a similar approach to where I put my time, so that I like the idea of not having to fight to the next mountain peak if I reach the level which is great, and focus on something
set out
completely
these
different.
mountain peaks and these peaks yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're satisfied with this peak, you don't have to. No one's telling you to climb the next peak. It's
But then
your
what
life.
do you do instead?
Well, for everyone, it's their own path. Everyone has their own path and their own peak and their own. Everyone writes their own story. So it's a really case to case situation. For example, for me personally, maybe I'm being a bit sometimes harsh for myself, but I've got very high expectations in this life. I've got, I think, many peaks, many mountains to climb, and this is what I want to do in my life. I want to reach my maximum possible potential, give the most I can to society, give the most first of all to myself, and then give to society.
So if I can ask you this basic question, imagine yourself in 5-8 years. What's the version that you'd be very happy with?
5 is still right around the corner.
Okay.
It's 2030. It's like
Well,
it's right
I
here.
think 10 years is just so unrealistic.
Yes,
in 10
exactly.
years, we're
Like,
probably
you
all going to have
really-
kids.
Yeah, like probably in 10 years, I'd like to think I'm going to be around thinking very, very intensely about having a kid in 10 years. But you just can't make so many plans and so many.
So that's why I say shorter. Like if there's a version of you in 5, 7, 8 years, whatever feels more comfortable, what would you want yourself to look like? And then you can look back at this podcast and be like, I thought so differently. Fuck 21-year-old me. But make that prediction anyway.
Yeah, I'll definitely in 5, 7 years I want to have my own stable, good, very good. Everyone has their own criteria of good, but my own criteria of good income.
Yes.
Be comfortable in this, and have to think. What about you? Let me ask you this question. After I'll think a bit, and after, because I want to answer this question very well and look back in 5 years or in 2030 and see if I've hit the.
Well, I want to have the biggest podcast in the world.
Biggest podcast. Who's the guy who has the biggest podcast in the world?
Joe Rogan.
Jeffrey Sass. No,
it's Joe Rogan. No, I don't want to have the biggest podcast in the world. I don't even like the idea of being famous. I'm doing this.
Oh, you don't?
I think it's really overrated. The reason I move for social media is because I think it's easier to live life without the extra mental pressure that comes with being connected with billions of people.
For sure.
But obviously there's pros and cons to having some sort of following, but famous is when like you're getting recognized and stuff. I'd never want to
for me success is freedom and comfort.
That's a great way.
Freedom and comfort, and when with fame you really don't have freedom.
You asked me about politics before. I've got this really mean way of looking at things, which I thought I wouldn't share, but I think I can. It's like there are two ways to approach any new laws, any new changes in your country. You can try to fix them, or if you have the financial freedom, you pack your things
and you leave.
You take your family, you take your partner's family, you take your best friend, and you move to New Zealand.
Or to Australia, or
to Australia.
To Japan or wherever,
and that's how you deal with them making,
For me, that's success.
Abortion's illegal.
For me, that is a definition of success. Is this control of your time and of your resources? And because now, for example, look at the UK. Now they have all this wealth tax, they have inheritance tax, blah blah blah, 1 million different taxes, and you see the wealthy packing the stuff, moving to Cyprus, Dubai, wherever they want, and you've got, and you've got the other people that just sit and complain about it. So yes, some people are more privileged, some people have the opportunity, but many people actually sacrifice so much in their life for them to be able now to have this freedom.
Absolutely. That's kind of how capitalism works. It obviously isn't perfect, but
no system is perfect.
Yeah,
but I think it's the closest.
I want to live in a world where people that try hardest have the highest likelihood of being most successful. Yeah. I want my doctor to have the most expensive car and a massive ass Rolex on his watch because
he'll save your life when
he will save my life.
Yeah,
and that's not really the case. Like doctors obviously make a lot, but not as much as businessmen. So it's an imperfection in my point of view, but then an average doctor makes a lot more than an average manager.
Yeah, but then a businessman will provide jobs to hundreds and maybe thousands and tens of thousands of jobs to different people and provide to families.
Yeah, hopefully that's...
He gives them employment. So by giving employment, yes, he should be rewarded.
Yeah. I'll go back to what you asked me because I want to ask you back the question of in 5 years' time. So I'll give 4 things that I want to be in, let's say, 5 years. Yeah. Number 1 is I want to keep wanting to learn new things.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
It's so important.
Totally agree.
A lot of people I know, after roughly the age of 19, 20, they stop doing new stuff. They keep doing, except for professionally, except for the stuff that they were doing younger, they're kind of doing the same things. And so one of my best friends, Valery, you know him.
Yeah, of course.
He picked up rock climbing and he told me, I don't know if I want to continue. It's it takes up a lot of my time. And the moment that he said that, I was at the airport waiting for my bags. I started screaming at him. I was like, "No, you got to do it." What was the last thing that you tried that was new? The last thing that most people try that are new probably happened a couple years ago. And I don't know if that was the case with him, but that's the case with most people. So if something new comes around
Thank
and
God
you're
today
interested in it,
that's not with me. That's not the case with
what's
me.
the most recent thing that you've tried?
New
Yes.
Muay Thai, piano.
Yes,
singing,
you tried Muay Thai. How's
paddle.
that going? So how many lessons have you had with Muay Thai?
Muay Thai, I think tomorrow is going to be my 8th lesson.
Okay. They say martial arts is very addictive. Is that the case?
Addictive, I wouldn't call it. But I like it. I'm a bit addicted to the gym at the moment.
Okay.
You can't really see it by my results at the moment. It's a very, very slow process. But I really have, I skip a day in the gym and I have proper anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, I miss it.
Do you go every day?
Well, I set my program, push, pull, legs, rest, push, pull, legs, rest. So sometimes it could be 5 times a week, sometimes it could be 6.
So
if I'm feeling a bit sick, I was just a little bit ill, so I missed 3-4 days.
That's amazing. I just go twice a week.
Twice a week. Well, everyone has their own,
Yeah.
Everyone, if you're satisfied with twice a week, you're satisfied with twice a week.
I'm
Some
very
people go 0.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I trained with my friend Alexi, and he works so much harder than me at the gym. I thought that I am a pretty average worker at the gym. And then every single person I train with outtrains me 3 times.
So, like, what's a typical, let's say, your gym day? So, typical push day, let's say.
Yeah, perfect. So I went to the gym today. I don't divide it into push and pull. I divide it into different muscle groups. So I will isolate back and biceps as a separate day, and I will do chest, triceps, and shoulders as the other day. So today I did chest, triceps, and shoulders. I just did the basic stuff. I did some bench. I did both incline and flat.
How many kilos, for example?
So I don't focus so much on weight as I do on hypertrophy. Okay. Like I essentially want to reach failure and not go past that. I had a very nasty shoulder injury. So
you told me.
Yes, but if anyone watching has ever an injury with their cartilage, you got to do steroids.
Already.
The ones that doctor prescribed to you, but I struggled with my shoulder for maybe like 3-4 months, and it's beginning worse. And then I've seen this Italian doctor, and he was like, let's do a few scans, and then we'll just put one injection in you. 10 minutes after he puts in steroids in me, I was fine. 10 minutes after. I'm not joking. I've been struggling with it for like 3-4 months. 10 minutes after, it all went away. 90% of the way, I still feel it a little bit if I'm putting some heavy weights. So, like what I'm mostly trying to do is like if I'm reaching 18, 20 reps,
20 reps, that's a lot.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Because
increase your weight.
If I increase my weight, I'm worried I'm going to fuck up my shoulder. So instead, I kind of reach hypertrophy with a lower weight.
Going back, let's talk about success. So one is you want to continue learning.
Yes.
2.
Okay, that's fair. Number 2 would be that I want to have my business structured the same way that it is right now. I'm very happy with my company. I've got a fantastic manager. I've got a really good assistant manager, or we call her head receptionist. I like my team very much. Everybody who works as a therapist is really good. Making a few changes for the next people to hire that I think will reflect even better.
Well, you're now opening a new location.
Yeah.
Will I say that?
We're hoping to open in somewhere around March, April next year. That's a realistic timeline. So we're already starting to look for people that potentially could come over. So I would say I want to have my business structured the same way. And the reason that I'm saying that I want that is because probably in 5 years' time, it will be bigger. And what I see with a lot of businesses is if they grow too fast, they become so chaotic. I want to avoid that.
Absolutely.
I don't think that work needs to be this chaotic place full of uncertainty, having to make a decision in split seconds. I think it could be a great place where you go, You provide a service for people, you get paid for it, problems always going to come up. You don't need to respond to them immediately unless they are, urgent. And you do what those offices do.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to sacrifice a little bit of the profit margin, but
So you sacrifice that profit margin for some comfort, for some time, for many other things.
That, and also, I think that also means you can have less people working for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to have
And
100 people.
Yeah. Because Yep, go ahead.
If I need to respond within 24 hours to every single problem, query, then I need a huge load of people working for me. I don't think I want that.
Fair.
I think when you reach a certain threshold of amount of people that you have to interact with on a weekly basis, it kind of takes a little bit away from your life.
And especially it's labor. And I think the biggest issue, I don't know, I'm not into any business at the moment, but from what I see from my mentors, my friends' businesses, is labor is the biggest issue.
Yeah, for sure. You would think it's the clients,
but really it's not. But because
not.
also
your
your workers are also kind of your internal clients. Let's put it that way, which you also have to satisfy. I believe in external clients, which are the ones that you provide the service to, you give the product to, but you also have your internal clients, which are your employees. And they are, in a way, they are kind of your clients. Depends how you look at it. But you have to provide for them too.
Yeah, of course. I think the problem is that all employers start to... It's not a problem. It's just the reality. They start to really care about these people that you hired, which is a great thing. But that makes it very difficult. Because if a client is in the wrong and something happens, you just kind of, oh, sorry, here's your money back, and you never see them again. If your employee is in the wrong and they're complaining to you about something, you have this really weird dilemma where either you...
What side do you take? Yeah. What do you do?
The right thing to do is to go ahead and confront them. But then if it's a little thing, you should... It's good to keep a balance.
You look at the opportunity cost. You look at the trade-off. It's really case-to-case situation.
So if it's like this with 2, 3, 5, 10 people, that's fine.
100 people.
It's 100.
200, 500.
I don't do it.
But again, you don't really deal with 500 people. You've got your managers. You only deal with, at the end, when you have 500 employees, you deal with 10, 15.
So I have a rule in my company that everybody has my phone number.
Yeah.
And they can always contact me. And I think that's a good way of doing business, at least for me, because the problem that I see in middle-sized companies, which we're not, we're a small business, but in middle-sized companies, the chain of command gets so long that if you are hated by your manager and you have to follow subordination, you can't report your problems to anyone but your manager. And if even you talk to the manager's boss, let's say the department
senior manager.
leader.
Usually, I think in traditional company, you have two-step access. So you have your manager's access, and then you have your manager's access.
So in my experience, the manager's manager always takes the
manager's
manager's
side.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's say, I don't know, a cleaner has a problem because she doesn't have a shelf wherever she does her laundry.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the manager just
neglects it,
just ignores it. She goes and raises it a step higher. They're going to be like, have you discussed it with the manager? They said, yes. What did the manager say? They said, no. You heard what she said.
Yeah.
And so...
Or the manager will go talk to a manager and say, we'll sort it out.
Yeah.
Never care about it.
So I have a rule where everybody has my phone number.
Yeah, very good.
They should get in touch with me if these things happen. And usually they don't. But that's because we're a small business.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever be the guy who can't be reached and like from my high horse don't talk to people. I know everybody.
But it depends. Let's say if you have now 2,000 employees.
I guess you have to do it then.
I mean, again, business structure is changing so much nowadays. For example, I had my internship at Exness last year. Exness was one of the biggest traders in the world, and trade stocks, NFTs, everything basically. And I was a business system analyst, but the business structure is so modern.
Yeah.
It's so different. Like I was.
Tell me about it. I'm curious.
Yeah, like
How-
first of all, there's no offices. It's all very open plan.
okay.
So the day before, I would book my office for the next day,
Yeah.
and I could be sitting here, and the CFO would be right next to me,
Okay.
for example.
Right.
And
Open
they've
plan.
got, I think, now around 3,500 employees.
How does that affect productivity? Because don't people chat?
Oh yeah,
Is that a good thing?
But then when you have your set of tasks, and it's very, very task based, like they would but they would really encourage you to do sports. So
Yes.
you are allowed during your work hours to go do sports at the
Right.
corporate
Like Google
gym.
does it.
Like
Google does it.
does it? Do they?
Well, they're known to have like ping pong tables and massage beds.
Yeah, we had table football.
Okay.
So they really encouraged it. A person like me, I have to be honest.
Yep.
That method doesn't really work on me very well.
Right. What's your method?
Mine is a bit more like I need more order. I need to be a bit more strict. I need my own space, and I need like work from home. Not for me at all.
Yeah.
No way. Like I need to be in the office. For other people, really works really well. So my point was different. Is that the way that Exodus is structured is so modern. Like I had access, like I had my CEO's email. Like I wouldn't email him, but there was access to basically everyone, and everyone there. The fact that I was sitting here and I'm an intern and I am 5 levels below, let's say the CFO. But I'm saying the CFO because he was actually very often he was seated next to me.
All right.
It was just how it worked for some reason, and he was 5 levels above me, but we were treated, I guess, the same. Like we had the same desk, we had the same square meters of the desk.
Wow.
So
And where was that? Was that here in London?
Exodus, no, it was in Limassol.
Okay.
Yeah, but they've got 3,500 employees. They've got an office here in London, Kings Road, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they've got offices in Malaysia, Uruguay. They're huge. They're a huge company now.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
From one thing I know about you is that despite both of us being pretty young, you've managed to work and tried so many different projects.
Yeah,
Worked in so
which is
many
good and
different
bad.
Places.
Like there is
I think it's good. I think when you're young, you gotta get through all those experiences,
I agree.
and then you'll find the golden mine, and you'll make your.
Like I
money
worked
from
in
one
IT.
thing.
Like last year, I was in my first year of studies, and I was like, I have to get into the IT sector.
Ooh.
I have to do courses on AI. I have to do maybe some part-time degree on computer science. I mean, the whole world now revolves around IT. IT is everywhere, and that's our life for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And when I went into IT, I was in the IT department. I realized that this is not for me at all.
I'm glad you're saying that, because when you said that IT is like the thing that you want to get into, I'm like, oh, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
that's not me.
scared
Like
of it.
you know me. Like this is not me. I can't sit on a desk for 8 hours and like do the coding. No, that's not me.
It's the coding part. It's the fact that you're interacting with such soulless.
And
things.
there was a lot of coding.
Fantastic.
There was, and 2 months was more than enough. I realized that this sphere is not for me. If I would have not tried it till this day, I might have started this course. I might have paid a lot of money to this course, and then figure it out in the process. So it's good on the one hand, trying so many different sectors and these industries, but on the other hand, I still don't know what I actually want.
I think there is some kind of cutoff point, but it's a lot later than where most people think. I really applaud people that are 23, 24, and they are changing the direction of their career, because it's a lot of pressure. So that when you're 16, you have to pick the right A levels. So that when you're 18, you get to the right A university. So that when you're 23, you get into the right job.
Yeah. I'm very critical of the system.
Okay, what do you think?
Like I'm very critical of how from year 10, I would say from my personal experience, year 10, you have to pick your your GCSEs, which will be close to your university, and then you pick your A levels. How on earth? Well, at the age of 15, will I know?
Yeah.
And then university comes, and I think I read a study that there's like 72% of the people don't even work in the industry that they studied at university. And then
I wonder what's that percentage if you only look at lawyers, engineers, and doctors.
but then look at it's a very, very big topic because many people go study what their parents studied,
Oh.
which is also I'm very critical because I think you can never maximize your potential, and everyone is so different, and everyone has their own path. And if you follow your parents' path or whatever, maybe your parents' failed path, maybe your parents wanted to be a mathematician, failed to be a mathematician, and wants now their child to be a mathematician.
Yeah.
But the person is clearly not good at maths, and they push and push and push, and it's kind of like you betraying yourself. You'll never be able to maximize your potential. You'll never be able to be happy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the point of life is to be happy.
Yeah.
And by doing something you don't like and it's not yours, you're not going to be happy.
It's a bad idea to work.
But
But you
then-
spend so much time working.
Yeah, but then, for example, let's say both your parents are lawyers.
Yeah.
Very good. Both of your parents are lawyers, have their own law firm, and you're a child. And you're exposed to law all the time. You're exposed to court cases day in, day night. And your lunch, your dinner, your family tables, everywhere you go is all about law.
That's a good recipe to be a successful lawyer.
Then obviously, just automatically, it kind of shifts you to that direction.
Yeah.
So, but then again, maybe deep inside, you're actually a very, very good actor, you know, and I guess you never find out. But then this aspect of nurture and nature comes in.
It's interesting how in life, in order to succeed professionally, you have to do it for a really long time. But
Yeah.
what also happens is once you do something for a moderate amount of time, you only then realize
If you're good at it or not.
if you're good at it or not, if you like it or not, if
Yeah.
you want to keep doing it for the next
Yeah.
30 years of your life or not. You can never tell from the first week of doing anything. I picked up Taekwondo and I'm doing it right now for about 2 months. And I'm like, oh, in 8 years I'll be black belt. But maybe by the time I
In 2 years, you
do
feel
a year and a half, and I'm like, I have to do what?
Yeah, exactly.
How much strain in my lower back is that putting me into? I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
don't know what I don't know yet. And that's a silly example because it's Taekwondo and I'm doing it for fun. But if you have to make a career choice and you decided to be a clinical psychologist and you studied in school and then in university, and then you realize that the mental aspect of dealing with people with trauma is too difficult for you, what do you do?
Yeah. Okay, this is like I think this you kind of figure out. But for example, let's say you study medicine for 7 years.
Yeah.
Then you go.
That's even worse.
Yeah,
7 years.
and then you can't take blood, for example, or I don't know, you can't.
There's also a lot of people that like studying. They enjoy the studying more
Than
than the
applying
actual
it.
career. I think a lot of people that go to study business are like this. I studied business, and I can tell that the course is just not helpful
No, it's not.
for doing business. But it's great because you're in the university environment. You have the social excuse. What are you doing? I'm a student. And that's it. Everybody can leave you alone.
Yeah.
And then you have to actually do the things that you've learned and apply it, and it maybe is not so fun. So let's
Yeah.
go back to, because I want to hear your prediction on 5 years ahead.
We're still on 5. I think it's been like half an hour we've been talking about.
Yes. How long have we
Um,
been doing this? Have we? Do you know what time we started?
It says that we're 1 hour and 20 minutes in.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's nothing.
So I'll definitely. You only said 2 out of your 4.
Yeah, let me give the other two. So I said
Learning
new
which I will
things,
agree.
wanting to learn.
Yeah.
Learning is I want to learn, and then business being structured the same way that it is right now
Yeah.
because I'm really happy with everyone. The third would be that I'd love to have a second residence. I maybe can see myself in the UK, but I want to have a plan B figured out because right now I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I definitely know that if I ever have kids, I don't want them to be here.
You
So
don't want them to be
I
here.
don't. No,
Neither do
I don't see.
Except if they go to Eton College. Even that.
And fourth, and the fourth thing is I'd love to be able to continue traveling. So that would be my fourth.
Definitely agree with continuous learning in all spheres. Again, I don't think there's ever a limit to education. 5-7 years. Have a passive income.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about that later, but keep going.
Be well financially. Well financially, independently. Independently, I think, is the key word. Yes, have my own residence. I think 5 years is pretty realistic. Yeah.
Anything else that jumps to mind?
At the moment, wouldn't say it. No, 5 years is very early to think about family. But then again, I'm very open to. It's just continue to be enthusiastic about life.
I like that.
And to bring this initiative to life, and to wanting to want more. And I don't think it's a bad thing. People say, "Oh, you want more? It's arrogant. You're only self-conscious." But no, I think wanting more and.
I've got a good metaphor for wanting more. There's this very, very intelligent Indian. He's not a priest, but he talks about spiritual studies.
Yeah.
His name is Sadhguru. And he says that imagine you're trapped in a 2x2 meter box and you manage to push out of it and it's now 4x4 meters. Are you going to stop? No. You're going to try to make it bigger.
Yeah.
And then you make it 10 meters and then you make it 16 meters. And the trick is no matter how big of a box you manage to push yourself into, you'll want more because you see the limit that you have and you want to break through with it. And that's human nature.
Yeah, that's just human nature.
I wanted to ask you about passive
income.
But
then there is a point where you are quite full.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Like
I think there is a point. For example, I see, for example, a friend which is an entrepreneur. I see that he is full. He's happy with what he has. He has total control of his time, total control of his comfort, he's very flexible. He can go whenever he wants, wherever he wants. And yeah.
And would that be the ultimate goal for you? So
yes.
Flexibility?
Yes. I think control of time.
What would you do with your time? Have you put much thought into that? Because every time I think about this, not that it freaks me out, but I don't have a clear-cut answer.
For sure, continue traveling. But okay. I don't like travels. Like I've been to quite a few travels which are just touristic travels. Yeah. I don't like this.
What kind of travel?
I always like a travel with a goal.
Okay.
So either this travel is a marathon. Either this travel is some conference or some exhibition, or a travel has to revolve around something.
Okay.
It shouldn't be just, I'm going to be a tourist in 5 days traveling to wherever just to be a tourist.
Drink cocktails.
Yeah. This sort of travel
by the beach.
I don't like, and they're not very appealing to me. I like travel that have a goal or a business. For example, I'm going there to discover that the real estate market's there and make my trip around that. Still go out, have a nice meal at nice restaurants, still meet people, go maybe to some touristic places, whatever. But it has to revolve around something.
Do you like art?
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of museums. I'll tell you. Sorry, Mum, but I have to admit this. But you really traumatized me with these museums. Like when I was younger, we traveled quite a bit. We went to Paris and Barcelona and Rome, Milan, everywhere. And my mum would always take us to all these museums.
All right.
All these museums, and I'll never forget. And
give me the fresh air.
And I did not like these museums at all. And now I'm 2 years in London, and I haven't been to a single museum.
Oh, that's so interesting. For me, it's a bit different in the sense that I maybe quite the opposite. I was not exposed to many museums growing up. It's just not the kind of things that we as a family opted into when we go traveling. And now, me and my partner, whenever we get the opportunity, we kind of try out a few things. Like recently, there was an exhibition in London on floral paintings. So essentially flower themed. Everything was flower. There was like windows made out of flowers and sculptures made out of flowers. It shows the different times that flowers were used in symbolic moments, like when Nelson Mandela was giving his speech, he was holding a rose. So there was like emphasis on all this. And I kind of liked it. I wonder if in 20 years' time I'll find more interest in it. Because right now I can't really appreciate it the same way that like some people that are into wine and they're like these sommeliers and they go crazy about it. I'm not going to be that. But could I potentially be... Because my lack of interest for art comes from not understanding what's
not being in it
big
and
thing about
not
it.
being exposed to it. So with traveling and with exposing and with meeting new people, you might meet tomorrow some 3-4 guys, because you're the average person of the average 5 people that you hang out with. Maybe tomorrow you meet 3 guys which are so into art, and all they think about is art. You automatically also, I think, after some time become interested in art. And
it's the whole mindset is more contagious than the flu. Psychology is more contagious than the flu. I think so. Because if somebody is passionate about art and passionate about this kind of lifestyle...
But all the 5 people around him are not.
No, it would have to be the other way around. It would have to be that 5 people are really passionate about art, and then you step in and you're like, I get it. Also, people are very tribal. I think we really try to fit in subconsciously. And if
Absolutely.
5 people
Not
around us are
subconsciously.
interested in whatever, you're going to convince me.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you also, you've been here for a couple of years now. What kind of stuff are fun in London? Anything that you can recommend to the 2.5 viewers and to me?
Last year I've been going to a lot of different conferences, exhibitions.
What kind of conferences and exhibitions?
Like literally an oil and gas, sustainable business, real estate, tourist sector. Anything I would do around business, I would go.
Okay.
I was very involved in the politics society of my university. So we went to Brussels, we went to Edinburgh.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was pretty cool, yeah. This year, took a little step back from this and focus again a bit more on myself.
Love that.
Lots of gym, lots of paddle, and I kind of closed my circle a little bit and was just spending time with the people which are actually I see very positive influence in my life. And yes.
A great way to check if a person like has good connection with you is if you are telling them a story and then you stop on the most interesting point and you just make a little pause and you wait. And I've noticed that because I've tried this experiment on the people close in my life, everybody, my parents, my partner, my best friends, whenever I stop a story in the most interesting part, they're like, even if they're not actively listening to me, if they're on the phone or cooking or anything else, there's a part of them that cares. And they go, okay, but what happened next?
Yeah.
And then the people that are not quite as invested in you, they won't ask.
Well, I maybe I'll disagree on this one.
Challenge me.
For example, if you're telling me a story tonight at 10 p.m. when my eyes will be shutting,
okay,
sorry, my priority will be sleep.
I agree. That's a good point. I would say like doing this a few times. On average, a person that you're close to will ask, and a person that you're not.
For sure. Then if you're talking about something that maybe you like, but is of complete no interest to me whatsoever, I don't think I'm going to give so much emphasis to it.
I think you'll care though. I know you. You and I are on great terms.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you about
your Amazon rainforest that you have at home,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, and I watered this monster and I was thinking it would have died, and then I watered it.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to ask.
You ask me, will it die? Did it die? What happened? But then if I told a person who really doesn't care,
you'll just switch topic.
Maybe not the best example, but
I agree and disagree. Like
that's fair.
It's open for discussion. I think it shouldn't be on a one-off basis.
Absolutely not.
Just check here. If you don't ask me, you don't care about me.
I agree.
It shouldn't be like
I
this.
never believe that means B. I really don't think that. I think very often A, B, C, D, E means something, and then A is the biggest factor. But nothing is ever straightforward where there's just one thing
Absolutely.
that leads to the next. It's always like these 12 and 20 things that put together make up whatever the conclusion is, but altogether not really. So then going back to places, you mentioned some business conferences and some
Yes.
business opportunities. If you were to take a friend or a girl on a
Went
date,
to a lot of
where would you
theatre.
go?
Went to a lot
Ooh,
of
theatre.
theatres. Yes, a lot of opera. Not a lot. For 3-4
I still
times.
haven't been to opera in London. What it's like?
I think it's a must-go experience. Again, I'm not the biggest enthusiast of opera, but it's cool.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Well, do you remember the name of the show you've been on?
It was one very famous French one. I couldn't recall. Then I've been to Macbeth
All right.
and one Italian one, very famous also Italian one. Couldn't tell you what's it called. So it clearly shows what a great opera enthusiast I am.
I go to movies and I don't remember the names either.
Oh yeah, like I'm not very into. I've been to a lot of theaters, Lion King, and all this musical, and I've been to all of them. If I went on a date with a girl, it really depends. It really depends on.
Any restaurants, some crazy escape rooms.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of first dates going to like bowling and escape rooms and no. I like to go.
Why not?
I like to go grab some good dinner.
Okay.
A nice restaurant. Not the best restaurant because also the expectations are very high.
Oh,
But
nice.
somewhere nice, somewhere with a nice atmosphere, and get to know the person. And yeah,
That's fair. I've got a little recommendation for you. Me and Joy have recently discovered this place just north of Hyde Park, and it's an ice skating venue. And I didn't know there was one in London. I should have expected it because it's London.
yeah. I mean, London has everything.
Yeah. But it's really, really cool. Not as a date recommendation, just as a place to go. I'm always on the lookout for fun. London
Yeah,
has
you
so
are.
much.
Yeah. London has London literally has everything you can.
But
It
then
also depends a lot on the girl. Like I really think I don't think many will agree, but I still believe I'm quite easygoing. I'm quite flexible. And I'm quite. I'm okay to do like
I think you're
any,
easygoing.
any activities.
Yeah.
Like I'm open to do anything really.
I agree.
So
with that.
in this case, especially if it's at the beginning of a possible relationship, whatever, I like to see what the girl also wants.
All right.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I will plan. I will do everything. I think that's good. That goes without saying. But I'll see like if she likes something particular, we can do that.
Have you tried any of the escape rooms here in London?
I have tried one escape room, not far from Tottenham Court Road. It was very easy. It was very
Really?
very dull.
So what I'm trying to ask is, what do you like to do in your free time, Seva?
What I like to do in my free time. This is going to sound a bit nerdy, but build value to myself.
Okay.
Yes.
Like with Muay Thai, then you're doing.
One aspect is that if you define that as free time, but listening to podcasts, maybe some, when I listen to podcasts and it's some interesting ones, I take notes, books, movies with meaning. Because every movie has an agenda, obviously, but there is a deep meaning behind every single. And I like to watch. Like for example, now did you watch Adolescence?
What's that?
Adolescence on Netflix.
No,
That's
I
how
haven't.
I call it. Very very famous Netflix series. It's 4 episodes about a boy who, at the age of 13, committed murder of a girl.
Oh, really?
And very, very, very interesting. I highly recommend.
Okay, and what is it called again?
Adolescence. It's like #1 trending.
How do you spell that? I can't.
ADOL.
Okay, got it.
I guess
The third letter.
so very, and like I was talking with my mother yesterday on the phone. I think we were talking for an hour
Yeah.
about this. Like there was so many things up for interpretation, up for discussion. So I like doing this in my free time. But yeah, I think obviously hang out with my friends. If I'm in Cyprus, going see my godson and my kumbaros. Like I think I spend the best time with him.
Life's simple pleasures, in other words.
Yeah, like if you look at a person that really doesn't need that much. Like I know I want so much in my life and I want so much comfort and blah blah. But if you zoom out a little bit, a person really doesn't need like that much. He wants to be surrounded by people that love him. He loves, or she loves people, and just yeah.
That's beautiful.
What about you?
It's beautiful. I like doing a lot of like the way you put it, development things. I love learning new things.
Yeah.
It's fun. Sports, I'm
totally.
reintroducing them back in my life. I took a long break when we were launching 7 Bali Spa. Well, it was called 7 Sky Spa, and then we renamed it to 7
What was the
Bali
reason
Spa.
that you renamed if it's not?
Oh, I'll tell you about it. It's a funny reason. So we run a massage spa. 95% of what we do is massage.
Yeah.
We also have a hammam. We have some facials. We have some slimming treatments. But most of the things we do are just relaxing massage treatments. And we like the number 7 because that's the brand that we've always had in every country that we've operated in. So we thought the name 7 Sky Spa, it's great. But then we had a few people, because we're located not far from Soho, that just thought that Sky has a bit of a erotic
Oh, no way.
connotation. And we kind of caught into that early on, and we thought there's a limited number of these people, and if we reject them for long enough, they're going to disappear. But no, there's an infinite amount of these people.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, we renamed. That was one of the reasons, and probably the biggest one. After we renamed it, our bad situations at the spa dropped down by about 80%.
Oh, okay.
The second reason was because we realized that our best selling point, like UAP, unique selling point, USP, was the fact that our therapists went to a school in Bali,
Yeah.
and they have Balinese techniques, and there's only one other Balinese spa, and it's not central at all. And so we thought, well, the word Sky doesn't mean anything to people passing by, but if we put what we're about in the brand name, that actually could generate some good sales. Also gives a rough idea of a price point. Balinese massage is generally considered more expensive than Thai massage, and then we're a more expensive spa. So that sets an expectation. If a person comes in, they won't be too offended by whatever we decide to charge. So then we had the problem that we needed to change the name because of some clients thought that we were a sex parlor, and then we. Thinking what we change it to, we wanted to make it profitable, not just put wild orchid spa. And so and that's how it happened.
Fair.
Yeah. And we're almost 3 years. We're going to be 3 years in August since we've opened. Yeah, and since about the 2-year mark, I've managed to reintroduce sport back in my life, and it's
that's good.
It's going well. As you were
sport,
talking,
I think every single person.
I think it's so good for your mental health.
It's such a good way of meditating, such a good way for mental health, physical health.
Do you still run?
Yeah. No, I don't run as much anymore. Like I used to do 4 or 5 times a week running.
That's amazing.
Now it's 4 or 5 times a week gym.
Okay. Do you do any running?
Yeah, I do 1 time a week cardio, 5-7K, easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. As you were talking about that you prefer to choose what did you say? You said you prefer to choose movies with meaning and a podcast that's self-developed. But I wanted to give you a controversial take on something, and I would love to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah.
I heard this guy on a podcast say that he believes that there is only so much productive desire in us per day. So it's one of those like masochistic, fake it till you make it concepts. He refuses to do any of productive things that don't generate him money until he's done something that does generate money. For example, he won't resort his socks or wash the dishes or clean the house until he spent 5-6 hours doing something that actually generates income. And his idea on it is, if you wake up and you redesign your closet and you change all the bed sheets at home and you have done all these great important things, which are chores, you'll be very happy with yourself and you'll be proud of the way you spent your day. But you won't make any money. So what he does is he first only does things that generates money while he has that desire to make something of his day. And only later he does everything more as a necessity rather than something he's proud of. What do you think of that approach?
I'm going to argue with this.
Yes,
for sure.
I love that. Tell me.
And first of all, whilst money is a huge, huge factor of life, the world and life does not revolve around money.
Are you sure?
Life, yes, I'm sure. Because I've seen so many people with so much money, but so unhappy.
I agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. Money is a very, 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 very important aspect of life. For my life, I'm speaking on my behalf. But it's not the only factor out there. The fact that I have a clean closet, that I have my bed made, that I have a clean flat, makes my mind clean and fresh and ready to work. Knowing that my bed is a mess, my room is a mess, my flat is a mess, my day is a mess.
Okay, so you operate in a way where if you live in an environment which is structured and not chaotic, that will actually help you not get distracted
for sure.
at
I think
work.
that's what Jordan Peterson said. Like, if you want to sort out your life, start by making your bed.
Okay.
I think that was him who said it.
Sounds like
I need
him.
to fact check, but yeah, and I totally agree with. Like, I function much better by having these fundamentals clean and done. And
do you think there's any truth to it? That
yes,
if
yes.
like spend an hour in the morning, going to the gym and doing some things around the house, you later may be underperforming at work because you are already happy with yourself.
No, I have a very strict, when I'm in routine, I have a very strict morning routine to myself.
What is your morning routine? I expect some great things, Sava. Tell me about your morning routine.
Great. Don't think about it's too
Wake
great.
up at 4 a.m.
5:30.
Skydive. 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay, great start. What do you do at 5:30?
5:30. I wake up. Bad habit I have. I check my phone. I check for any important messages, for any any news that happen overnight. I know, like, how important can something be? Like, if it's something really, really important, they would have called me, and my phone is always on.
You wake up at 5:30. You're justified. You can do whatever you want with that time.
Absolutely not. So get out of bed, make myself a cup of tea, and get myself a book. Okay. I go first. I brush my teeth, I wash my face, make myself a cup of tea, a book, and face the River Thames. Get my book, read it for 20 minutes.
Oh.
Then the gym opens. I go down to the gym.
You have to read a book because you wake up so early. The gym is still closed. That is amazing. I love that.
Well, you see, because now I try to read in 3-4 languages a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't forget my languages. Because I really started, because now my life is mostly English, and I started to see how my level of Russian has been dropping, my level of Greek has dropped a little bit. So I try to keep my language level by reading in 4 languages that I know.
So that would be Russian, English,
Spanish, Greek.
Oh, Greek.
Yes.
Oh, you're keeping up with the Greek.
Of course.
That's amazing.
I think I have the respect of the Cypriot people, and
yes,
because I know Greek, and I see how people actually really respect it. And I have to say that it's a must. For example, it's absolutely. Did you learn Greek?
Yes. You asked me if I learned Greek. I did learn Greek.
But for me, seeing people that lived, for example, for 20 years in Cyprus and not knowing a single word in Greek is unacceptable.
Yeah, that's me.
Like, I really,
That's
really don't. I think it's a very disrespectful towards the country.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And the minimum that I can do to provide to the country is to speak the language. But it's a different topic at all. Going back to my morning routine.
Sure.
So I read usually my first book in English because like my brain is still quite sleepy. So to be
Sorry, can I quickly interrupt you because I want to double check something. You said you read for 20 minutes.
yeah.
So but there are 4 languages. So would that be 5 minutes each language?
No. I
is
read
it
20
one day?
minutes. Yeah. No. I read around 15, 20 minutes, which is an hour to an hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, throughout the day.
Okay.
So that's my first part done.
Okay, so you
So
start
first
with
20
one language
minutes, yeah.
and then you go to
now
another
is
one.
television. Benjamin Graham, Intelligent Investor.
Right.
Fast book. I think I'm going to finish like next year.
Tell me you're not reading that in Greek.
No, that's in English.
Thank
that's
God.
In English. No, in Greek now, I'm reading a book that my friend about Greek history.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I
Imagine reading an investment book in a language that you're learning, misunderstanding something, and doing something really stupid on the market, but plot twist, it works out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and you make a bunch of money.
Hasn't worked out yet. But anyway.
I love that.
So I go to the
Languages.
gym.
Yes.
And 25, 30 minutes is morning exercise. So
Okay.
stretching, few push-ups, stretches basically. Maybe it's foam rolling, maybe a few ab exercises. Basic, just to wake up really. Go back up, make some really good breakfast. Like 4 or 5 eggs, 6 eggs, cottage cheese. Yeah.
6 eggs.
Yeah. Like now it's bulking season.
Wow.
They drop a little bit the past few weeks.
Do you eat twice or 3 times a day?
Sometimes 5. Minimum 3, maximum 5.
Wow.
Yeah, but like 3 main meals, 2 small meals.
Wow. Textbook.
But yes, I haven't been very consistent, and this has shown in my results.
Okay.
But anyway, and also my morning routine is not always that consistent.
Whose is?
But that's where success is. That's the difference.
That's my microphone.
Oh, that's the difference. I'm like, who's like? That's the difference between I think the real success and the fake success.
Okay.
Yes, I think consistency is the key to success.
Well, before we continue, I'm sorry for interrupting
Yeah,
you so
go
much. I read this book, Atomic Habits.
Oh yes.
And the one
James
thing
Clear, I
that
love him.
really stuck with me is when he said that if you miss a day once, if you miss the thing that you're supposed to do once, that's okay. But if you miss a habit twice, that's the start of forming a new habit. He put it a little bit better, but essentially
Absolutely.
it means that if you miss something once and then you get back into it, no problem. But it's when you miss something twice, that's when you should start worrying.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Right. So going back to your morning routine,
So
I
make
love
good
that so far.
Make good breakfasts.
You cook
Take
yourself?
a shower. Yeah,
Wow.
always breakfast for sure. Last year, I think I cooked twice in the whole year.
Love that.
This year I cooked.
Welcome to London. You can deliver a burger at 3 a.m. It's going to cost you $12. It's going to be really tasty.
Yeah, literally. But no.
What did you have to breakfast?
Then I play the piano for 20 minutes.
Okay.
After I have my breakfast, that's around 7:15. Play the piano for 20 minutes. Duolingo for like 10 minutes. And then I read again for 20 minutes. Then I think I usually have some free time. I'm on my phone, Instagram, like super procrastination, super like
A bit of
kiss
morning
up.
rest.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
be positive. Morning rest. You need some you time.
And yeah, and from that's the core of my morning. Usually I adapt it. Maybe I can read another extra 20 minutes. But if I get that core done in my morning, my day is just, it builds on much better.
Oh, I know what you mean.
And it just goes, I'm way more productive.
You must feel good.
Yes, it does.
From that point on.
Yes, it does. And you're like, oh, I've done this already. I could do more and it's just a domino. Whereas there are times where, let's say, if I go out, and I'm not gonna lie, I did go out quite a bit in March, and like I say, I'll wake up later, and the day was all like a bit like not productive.
Yeah. I'm going to add one more thing to my 5-year resolution.
Yeah.
I want to wake up early.
That's my
It's so
favorite
important.
part of. I think that's my favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
It's waking up early and being productive. It's such a great thing, especially when it's dark outside and it's winter. Like I know it's horrible, but fuck that is a confidence boost. I have to say.
Being up before everybody else.
Yes, exactly. And you see the whole London like being dark, like and your light is on.
Shame you can't see the sunrise in here.
Oh, you can't now.
It gets less dark.
It's true. Yeah. It's just grey.
How important do you think a morning routine is to a person?
Very.
Right.
Very, very important. I'm very, very pro morning. Seize the morning, seize the day.
Okay.
I have it on next to opposite my bed, this phrase. And I really believe in a very good... everyone's morning routine is different. And everyone...
And should it be different? Or do you think there's one?
Yes. Everyone should be... It's... We're also different. Like, it's a very case-to-case situation. Someone wants to go straight for a run. For me, like, I can't run straight in the morning because I just feel really, really exhausted very, very fast.
Yeah. Makes me sleepy after I
Yes,
run.
exactly. Like around 11 a.m. if I go for a morning run. I used to do that. I used to do like morning activation runs.
Yeah.
And by 11, I'll be like sleeping in class.
Yeah.
But yes, morning routine I think is a must for everyone.
Wow. I find it interesting that people are very curious in morning routines of successful people. Nothing wrong with the curiosity. I don't think people should copy them.
No, you should adapt. You should align it, and you should look at all these successful people.
Yeah.
You should look at all these routines and make what works for you. Because I did the same mistake. I tried the same morning routine that Richard Branson had.
Well, I think
he wakes up like 3:30 in the morning.
Richard Branson got rich first, and then he developed a weird morning routine because he has got some money and he's got whatever Richard Branson is doing in the morning equipment. And I think for me, it's better to, like you said, we're also different, focus on myself and make a weird morning routine based on my current needs.
Based on your goals, because like my morning routine reflects also my goals.
Have you tried ice baths?
I tried Prorup in Russia.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't think in my 60 square meter flat I can get an ice bath.
Yes, you can. I did it.
But you have a 2-bed, 2-floor apartment.
Don't tell that to people. It's a 2-bedroom. And I just converted my second bedroom instead of being a guest room into an ice bath room.
You became famous in the building. Yeah, I think everyone knows you. I remember. Oh, we met a guy together at the gym. He's like, "Are you the guy with the ice bath in the room?"
I am. You should come do it. It's great. You know, the thing about ice baths is it raises your dopamine levels.
Oh, it's amazing.
Sky high.
Oh, yeah.
As high as some drugs do. It gets you really happy. The only difference is that most drugs later throw your dopamine level below baseline.
Yeah.
Which is why people report like feeling low after doing things, and why very people like constantly needs to stay on something if they're addictive, because if they don't, they immediately go very sad. So an ice bath works differently because something about the fact, I believe, that it mixes with so much adrenaline, it slowly goes down over the next 4 to 8 hours back to baseline, but it never goes below. So it gives you that great rushy feeling of positivity, of I can conquer the whole world, but there's no like negatives to it. It's really great.
It is. No, I like ice baths.
Well, let's try it sometime.
Yeah.
When the sauna works in our building again.
Yes.
So next year.
Yes, please, Balimo, sort this out.
It's official on camera. If you guys want to buy an apartment in Ballymore, only if they change their what do you call them? Service manager company. Yeah. The management company.
Management company, yeah.
So it was so nice to have you on the podcast.
Oh yes. So that's at the end?
I think so. I think we've talked through some amazing things.
2 hours. Wow.
That was great. Time flies.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
Yes, me too.
Anything you want to share?
Great time. Had a great time. Thank you very much.
Do you have any projects going on? Shall people follow you somewhere? Are you selling anything?
No. Low
what
profile.
courses can people buy?
I'll go rent like these private jets and make all these photos and then selling this course.
And selling it all up. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Used to be 1,699. Now it's 69.99 or something. Yeah.
99.7% discount.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, so yes, thank you very much, Maxim. Well done, and I hope you flourish in this new hobby that you have.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. All right, so bye everyone.